My 37M girlfriend, 32F, threatened to sue me if I left her. How do I even begin to process this? I finally got up the strength to tell my girlfriend of a year and a half that I didn't appreciate the way she was treating me. Everything I do wrong is my fault, and everything she does wrong she blames on forces outside of her control. She was extremely passive-aggressive after an argument we had the previous day. She treated me like a ghost in our own apartment. She wouldn't even communicate with me, instead going to our bedroom, shutting the door behind her, and then sending me nasty text messages about how everything is my fault and she needs to heal. And #X200B. My girlfriend recently got the gastric sleeve, which I was against for my own reasons, but I ended up supporting her in it. We don't have to agree on everything to support each other. Taking her to get the procedure done and nursing her back to health from it, literally waiting on her hand and foot. Buying her medications she needed, getting her popsicles when she ran out, the whole 9 yards. And #X200B. The passive-aggressive non-communication got to me really bad. My ex fought the exact same way as she did, and I almost had a full-blown panic attack living with that all over again. I slept on it and wasn't feeling any better in the morning. I left a letter saying we could talk Monday and I needed some space to process things. I made sure the fridge was stocked, I cleaned the whole apartment, took care of the pets, and lined everything up for her to take care of herself. I sent a message to her bestie asking her to take care of her in my stead while I process things. I told her friend that me and girlfriend would be talking Monday when I've calmed down, and hopefully she's calmed down. If the relationship is over on Monday, I requested that her bestie have her stay a couple nights so she's not alone and so I can pack everything and start moving on to healing myself the following weekend. And #X200B. 3 hours at my parents' house and she's absolutely livid that I won't communicate with her. She messages me on my phone telling me to check your messages now. So I relent. We get into an argument that ends in me saying either she wants to work on things or she does not want to work on things. She needs to take personal accountability for the things she said to me, or I don't want to be with her. She continued to blame things on the surgery and her healing, saying I won't let her heal, when I was literally trying to let her heal by distancing myself and trying to calm down and think through my own emotions. And #X200B. That's when she let the bombshell slip. If I left her, she would sue me for damaging her while she was healing from the surgery. Her words were, "I won't let anyone f*** me over ever again." I was so taken aback by what she said. I honestly don't know how to process it. I keep trying in my head, but it feels like she showed me her true colors. We fought for over 3 hours through text. A fight I really didn't want to participate in. The whole time her berating me for not letting her heal. She eventually admits to being very hangry. So I agree to bring her some of her favorite mashed potatoes to help calm her appetite down. When there, she says that we should just be friends and I should just move into the spare bedroom. When I said that's not something I would be comfortable with, she stormed off. As she was going, I told her I didn't want to speak to her until she takes some accountability for her actions. She's been pushing on stepping over my boundaries almost our whole relationship. And #X200B. I have a therapy session coming up the 30th of this month, but at the moment am having a really hard time processing this. I don't want to take a break, but she has a hard time taking no for an answer. Historically, every time I say the word no to something she asks, she goes off in anger. I feel so small and I'm so tired. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Do I try to save things or just go my separate way? Do I have to worry about her suing me because I don't want to be with her when she's making me feel so little? What do I do to heal from this? And #X200B. And #X200B. And #X200B. She has nothing tangible to sue you for. Suing for emotional damage that can't be proved isn't a thing. She's watching too much TV. Damages need to be dollar figures. On another note, I have no idea what you're getting out of this. The whole thing sounds terrible. Surely you can find someone you actually get along with who doesn't browbeat the hell out of you. Just go. Block her. She has nothing to sue you for. This is no way to live. Are you on the lease? Find out what and if you need to pay by contacting the landlord. It's them you might owe, not her. Call landlord, tell him you need out of the lease but X will be staying on there. Offer to pay a cancellation fee and then get friends to go get your stuff. She is insane. End it and tell her good luck trying to sue me when you can't afford rent. Block and be done. This is a fake post. I, 42M, cheated on my wife, 43F. Should I tell her what happened? I had an emotional affair with a work colleague a little over 4 years ago. Whilst this doesn't diminish the fact it was still an affair and therefore betrayal, it only became physical once after too much alcohol, although there was no sex involved and just kissing. COVID then happened and it fizzled out and she left the company. Looking back, I'm glad that it did, as it was a major mistake on my part that I massively regret. I can only put what I did down to a midlife crisis type event and weakness on my part. My wife and I have always had a really good relationship, spend most of our time together and have lots of plans for the future. We have 2 teen kids. We make a great team. The only negative aspect to our relationship is that my wife never initiates sex, which, despite having had numerous arguments and conversations about, she is unwilling to change. I think this led me to have low self-esteem about myself, and so when I received some overt female attention for the first time in years, I lost myself a bit and fell for the potential excitement of a new relationship. So, do I come clean and tell my wife, or do I continue to live with the guilt for my wife and children's benefit? I'll be honest. The entire post reads like one excuse after another. Oh, it was a mid-life crisis. My wife doesn't initiate sex. Her behavior caused me to have low self-esteem. You're not actually owning up to a shitty mistake and betrayal of your marriage, at all. You want to come clean for your benefit only, to get it off your shoulders and place the responsibility of forgiveness on your wife. First and foremost, be honest to yourself about why you want to come clean. But when you do, be prepared that your wife might not be prepared to forgive you. After too much alcohol. You know this is a cop-out, right? So here's the thing. By your own admission, this affair didn't end because you recognized it was wrong. It ended because COVID then happened and it fizzled out. If COVID hadn't happened, would it have fizzled out? Or would it have gone further? You've never done the work to work out why you did it, and make sure you won't do it again. So right now there's no guarantees that next time a coworker shows you interest, that you won't repeat this. So yes, you should tell your wife so she knows what you're capable of and can decide if she's willing to take that chance again. How many excuses did you put in this? I don't know what you should do, both are equally shitty. What you should have done is not be a cheater. So I cheated on my wife. Oh, but it was only emotional. Oh, but it was only kissing. Oh, but it was actually her fault. You're a poss. Stop making excuses and tell her so she can leave your ugly ass and be happy with someone who actually respects her. I'm 29. Uncomfortable with male friend sleeping over at my girlfriend's, F28, apartment. My long-distance girlfriend and I are dating for almost a year now. She just told me that a male friend she hasn't seen for almost a year is coming over and might stay overnight if it gets too late. We never discussed boundaries. I don't know him and I don't know how they met. Might have been dating, didn't work out but stayed friends, or how close they are. She just brought it up after I asked about her plans for the weekend, even though it was planned for a while, I guess because it's a bit of a drive. I fully respect her freedom and she can do whatever she wants, but I feel uncomfortable with the situation. I'm not going to make it a big thing, but I mentioned my feelings to her after she announced her plans. She immediately offered to change plans so he comes tomorrow and they have a full day and no need to stay overnight. Now I feel bad. I would really like to discuss that kind of thing for the future. Should I mention that or should I just accept it? Don't want to feel like an asshole, but I'd also like our boundaries discussed. Update. They met years ago. He contacted her on Facebook because he was new to the area. They used to live closer before she moved away. He's a US soldier based in Europe. He had romantic interest. She made it clear that she is not interested. They stayed friends. I said that I don't think it is okay for him to stay overnight, because there is a dating background. In my opinion, her willingness to swap the plans to the next day pretty much proves she doesn't have nefarious intentions with him staying over. If you're not comfortable with it, I'd just tell her that, as she seems perfectly willing to work around that boundary so you feel comfortable with the situation. I think you're being too hard on yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. This would be a common boundary for many people. I can see why you didn't think to discuss it beforehand. But it seems like it all worked out. You said you were uncomfortable with the sleepover. She changed her plans so she can still catch up with this guy without the need for the sleepover. All is well. Maybe just try to find a time to have a deeper discussion about this with her. Find out how she felt about it and whether she thought your boundary is reasonable. Try to come up with broader situations and discuss them with her so neither of you are surprised like this in the future. You established with her how you feel about her decision. Now sit back and see how she handles it, knowing how it makes you feel. Respect and communication go a long way in a relationship, especially LDR. Personally, I don't think a woman in a relationship should have another man staying the night over at her house. Honey, this whole thing made me realize we haven't really talked about boundaries. I'd like to talk about them now. Not just things that make me uncomfortable, but things I can do to make you comfortable as well. My wife, 25 female, put hot sauce in my 30 male nose while I was sleeping. My wife and I have been together for 5 years, married for 3. Our son is 3 years old and she has another son who is 7. I love the older one as my own and am very close to the kids. However, things have been taking a strange turn since we got married. She has been doing things that she thinks are funny, but it's been getting more and more dangerous every time. It started with pinching me or, playfully, pushing me, but a few days ago, I was in the kitchen doing dishes and she came behind me and started talking to me about my day. I was talking to her and, while talking, I turned around and she took my baby son's dirty poopy diaper and rubbed it on my face and started laughing. Not to be too gross, but I could actually taste it. I tried to talk to her but she said I can't handle her humor. Last night, I came home after 18-hour shift at the hospital, exhausted and lethargic, and went straight to bed without eating anything. She was also in bed, so I gave her a kiss and fell asleep. I suddenly woke up feeling my nose and brain were on fire, and she was holding my baby's Tylenol syringe and laughing. I rushed to the bathroom and threw up. I was in agony and never felt like this before. I felt that I was literally going to pass out from pain. I left the house and booked a hotel room, and I'm still here in the hotel room not knowing what to do. I don't want to leave my children with her, but she is a completely different person around people, and will somehow make me the bad guy. She loves our kids, but I don't know if one day she will act towards them this way as well. What should I do? Should I just leave her and risk losing my kids as well? Yeah, this needs to go to the police. If this is new, then something has happened inside her head. She doesn't realize how terrible the things she's doing are. Next you'll get a knife through your hand while she's just laughing and finding your reaction hysterically funny. She might be having fun and knowing the things she's doing isn't actually dangerous, but if you can't have a proper talk about it, then it's time to act due to the potential dangerous future for you and your kids. Press charges. Sounds like a nut job. If you feel like this relationship is worth keeping, then maybe it's best that you try talking to her again, and making it clear that violating your boundaries and hurting you like that isn't a matter of not having a sense of humor. She needs to understand that this is a serious issue for you and not something she can just brush off. If she can't respect that, then there are fundamental issues with respect in your relationship. What in the actual fuck? This is horrible of her. Has she always been this way?